Morning or good afternoon. My name is Johnny Girardi, DataSelf's founder and CEO. We're super excited about talking about DataSelf with the Fulfilled by Acumatica program. We want to be your partner for success in BI. And before anything else, we brought here the core team that is going to be working with the FBA program, the Fulfilled by Acumatica program. In our industry, it's not only about technology, it's actually mostly about the people involved in technology. So in this presentation, we're going to have several people that are in our team as well as from Acumatica involved. Again, I'm the founder and CEO. I was a programmer in my early career. Then I became a business person. And for the past 20 years, I've been working in solving two problems. The first one is decision makers being frustrated that they have the data in their systems. The data is right there. Why can't they make more timely, actionable, informed decisions anytime, anywhere? Why? So I've been working this problem for 20 years, solving this problem for 20 years. And the second is supporting the people who usually work with reports and dashboards, the business analysts, the report writers, and giving them better, more powerful tools so they can keep up with the job of providing information for decision makers. So for 20 years, I've been working on these two problems, and that's my role. Darcy, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Darcy Borio, and I manage channel relations and partner enablement here at DataSelf. Been with DataSelf for over 5 years now, but I've been in the mid-market ERP space for almost 25 years. So in my tenure, I've worked with a lot of different ISV solutions. And I can just tell you that working with DataSelf has been so much fun because I just have rarely seen a product that partners are so excited about. It really, I love the company, I love the product, and I'm really looking forward to working with you all to help you guys bring the power of DataSelf to your customers and prospects. And I'll be your point of contact for all things partner program related, including marketing support and partner onboarding and training.
Thank you, Darcy. Don Farber couldn't join us today, but he has been working with us for over 20 years now, and he's also been in the industry for over 20 years. He's one of our senior marketing strategists, and usually he works with partners understanding their business strategy and how to put business intelligence into your focus to be more successful. So that's Don. Tom, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tom Fitzpatrick, BI Solution Engineer with DataSelf, and my main role is to help alleviate your clients' reporting pains, whether that's for new Acumatica deals or current Acumatica clients who just are more data hungry and they just need more than what they're getting from the Acumatica reports. And my goal is to partner with you to be as involved as you'd like, but I can be your direct resource from the moment the lead is registered to a discovery call, demo, follow-ups, and a proposal if needed. So I know Johnny's going to be providing you a quick demo of DataSelf for you today, but I would like to just let you know that I am available for a more comprehensive overview should you like to see one after. So please feel free to reach out and we can schedule some time.
Thank you, Tom. Michelle?
Good day, all. I'm Michelle Taylor, BI consultant and client success manager here at DataSelf, a mid-range data geek working on that full range after being an ERP consultant for about 20 years. Like you, I'd seen many BI solutions, and once I picked my job after seeing the sheer volume of report and dashboard offerings from Johnny at a consultant-only conference, I focused on how this solution could allow my customers to know more about their business to make their daily lives easier. And like you, a very busy ERP consultant, I just didn't have time to learn another tool. So over time, I saw more and more customers begin adding BI to their tool set. And I was seeing more and more DataSelf. Fast forward a couple of years, and I realized that every day I was coming up with ways that BI could enhance the daily life of my customers every single day. I wholly believe in DataSelf. The main reason I chose to move from being an ERP consultant for such a long time was the ease of use for the end user to answer their own intricate data-based questions. Couldn't be more pleased with my shift in servicing our joint customers and for being here as the VAR consultant for our team.
Thank you, Michelle. Lisa?
Everyone, this is Louisa with Acumatica, and my job here at Acumatica is to focus on our partners that we are calling our fulfilled by Acumatica partners. We're looking for partners such as DataSelf that fill a big Acumatica gap that our customers are anxious to take advantage of, and we want to make it easy for them to acquire those solutions, which is why we have about 20 partners on that as members of the FBA partner, and thrilled to welcome DataSelf back to the FBA program. They are now exclusively purchased. They can only be exclusively purchased through the FBA program now. And we couldn't be happier to have them.
Thank you, Lisa. And we're super excited to be back to the program, and you've been play a big role in discussing the vision of the new FBA program and making it happen. So thank you very much for being here and for your effort making us work together more effectively. One thing also about the team that is very interesting, currently DataSelf, we're about 30 people, I call 30 data geeks or data geeks related. A lot of us, we came from the ERP channel. So we are data geeks. We talk data many times, but we came from the ERP channel. So we're very aligned with what Acumatica does, Acumatica VARs do, and Acumatica clients. So we know a lot about ERP related systems to Acumatica, like Salesforce.com and other systems. But at the end of the day, our mission is every day to help you and your clients give their decision makers more power, more user friendliness when it comes to make more informed decisions. The way we broke our presentation today is in 3 main blocks. Why DataSelf? A quick demo of DataSelf in discussing the FBA VAR enablement resources. After each of these sections, I'm going to open a quick Q&A, some questions to see if you have any question about that particular topic. So we should have plenty of time to also answer your questions. At the end of the day, we're here to assist you. It's not so much about what we have to tell you, but what you think about it, and then we can address those topics. So keep your questions as we go, because we're going to be addressing them at each block. So the most important thing is, why DataSelf? Acumatica, I've been working with ERPs for over 20 years, and I know over a dozen, competing products from Acumatica. And Acumatica has one of the most powerful ERP reporting platform. If you look at the options, it's amazing, from the report designer, the GIs, the pivot table, the dashboards. There's so many things in Acumatica. So why do you need something outside of Acumatica? Well, all ERPs, all of them, they build and this is, the data geek perspective. They build the ERP, the reporting tools to tackle processes, to help the staff to do their jobs. And Acumatica does an amazing job fulfilling that vision. The challenges is usually when you start going to decision makers that always have ad hoc questions all the time, and you have to keep on changing those reports, slicing and dicing the data. And then the tools in any ERP system, they are not really designed for ad hoc analysis. And that's why when you see people complaining, hey, Acumatica reporting is complex, or it's kind of slow. Well, because you're hitting parts of the reporting problem where Acumatica's focus is not there. And what we see usually is when people start hitting those issues, quite often they start to get other tools, right? Excel is the most common one. People say that in any ERP, the export to Excel button is the most popular feature of an ERP. I've heard that, and I kind of laugh. It's true. It's many people export to Excel to do some ad hoc analysis. And in Excel, and there are also some great Excel add-ons that work with Acumatica out there. You can do a lot of things in Excel. And then Excel becomes the external tool for the more strategic and performance-oriented reporting. So it's better in a way than Acumatica for that purpose. But still, in Excel, many clients will find that it's a lot of work to build reports in Excel. If you have too much data, it's a nightmare. Excel doesn't handle a lot of data, and getting data into Excel sometimes is time-consuming. And some people can call the Excel hell eventually, they say. When you have too many Excel spreadsheets, you start to lose control of the data. What is the right information? What is being refreshed? So it's hard to maintain what is called a single version of the truth. So many times when you have those issues with the Acumatica in Excel, people start to plug other tools that are supposed to solve the problem. Tableau, Power BI, reporting services, and other BI tools. And they all help towards getting reports better. True. But if you look at all of these extra tools, we call these standalone tools, at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. You still have performance issues, and it's still hard to maintain the single version of the truth. That's just generically speaking. The way to solve pretty much all of these problems is when you add a data warehouse, an additional layer to the solution. And many people think, adding more layers, it makes more complicated. It gets slower. Actually, not reality. It's not the reality. With data warehousing, when you add a data warehousing to this reporting platform, now you can use the power of data warehousing, which is usually a database like SQL, to handle extensive data preparation. Reports will run fast, and that's going to be easy. Will be easy to maintain what is called a single version of the truth. You put in the data warehouse what's sale, what's revenue, what's gross profit. And as you can tell, all of the limitations of the reporting in the ERP is no longer there. Things are going to be running fast, no more complexity. The limitation of the standalone tools also go away, except still labor intensive. But data warehousing, typically, it's not simple. It's to start from scratch. Many people think, oh my God, there's a lot of extra, effort. And that's usually the reality. You put another piece, you solve a lot of problems, then you create new ones in the process. Well, we're talking about this because with DataSelf, actually, we have all of these pieces connected, ready to go for Acumatica. And that's what we really do. Why DataSelf? Because all of those things we saw before, DataSelf out of the box, it can be deployed in minutes. We bring what is called the power, ease, and speed, solving pretty much all major reporting challenges in Acumatica. The power step is leveraging an out of the box, ready to go, amazing data warehouse. It uses SQL Server as a database engine. However, the most important thing is we use ETL plus. ETL stands for Extraction, Transformation, and Loading. It's an amazing technology that we have completely redesigned in the last 5 years to make data warehousing simpler, faster, and easier to maintain. In out of the box, ready to go. So the power step solves a lot of reporting issues. And you, the VAR, or those of you who are more technical, will find that if you know how to do report design in Acumatica, maintaining the DataSelf data warehouse is a small additional learning curve. It's not complicated to maintain this data warehouse because ETL Plus make it much easier. Step 2 is popular reporting tools in the mid-market. Excel, absolutely. We make Excel reporting out of Acumatica significantly better. Tableau and Power BI, also 2 tools that are very popular, and we make them also amazingly easy to leverage. Pre-configured, pre-plugged to a solution that pulls Acumatica data into those tools on schedule. The third step is speed in 2 ways. Speed, because if you go with, if your clients would go with our top-notch, our most comprehensive solution, we have more than 8,000 reports and dashboards in a library that users can pick. When you go to a library, you pick 1, 2, 3 books at a time. It's the same thing. There's a lot of reports ready to go in a library, and users can easily find answer to their questions, sometimes sophisticated questions, out of the box on day 1 out of this library. So report library, report of customized reports and dashboards is a big piece of the speed. And second, when users run their reports in DataSelf using the out-of-the-box library or custom reports and dashboards, no matter what, custom report DataSelf and dashboards in DataSelf run in seconds, no matter how much data the company has. You can have multi-company, you can have multi-currency, you can have millions and millions of records in your systems. When you run DataSelf reports, they run in seconds. It's amazingly fast. So that's the speed. And these three pieces together, they deliver of, they tackle the challenge that I spoke in the prior slides. In a way, many times, trying to tell the clients why DataSelf, there's a lot of, technical knowledge that I covered in those three slides. Because, oh my God, can you make it simpler to tell why DataSelf is so important? This slide isn't a simple way to give the message. ERP reports are focusing processes. They are focusing on facilitating staff tasks. Management, decision makers, they want BI reports. And usually behind the BI reports, you have a data warehouse to really deliver in these 4 different benefits. Strategic and performance-oriented. It's easy to slice and dice anytime, anywhere. Decision makers don't have to be calling people all the time to make changes. It's automated, the right data to the right person, the right time, automatically. You don't have to call anyone. The data comes to the right person at the right time with no human intervention. And it's fast. And you can maintain a single version of the truth. So this slide is a simple way to tell people why they need BI. And behind the scenes, DataSelf with all the components, including the data warehouse, which is so critical, makes BI simpler, easier, faster, and affordable. Now, what you really care as a VAR is 2 things. One is you want to sell to new Acumatica customers, right? That's a big part of your sales effort. Can DataSelf help with those sales? And quite often I hear, well, as an Acumatica, trying to sell Acumatica, I don't like to put ISVs because I have to talk about other things. It makes it more complicated. This is a big, pushing back towards putting any additional ISV into proposals. So when can DataSelf become an asset, not a liability to your new sales efforts? When? Well, there are 2 main times when DataSelf is a major asset. First of all, is very specific. Many companies, when they are moving from their legacy ERP to Acumatica or to the new ERP, they want to be able to easily analyze their legacy data, historical transactions, along with the live database. In this problem, when people come up with, it's not easy to solve with any ERP systems, bringing legacy transactions. I'm not talking about the open balances, all the things that you have to do. Is actually want to see, let's say, sales history for all my history, going back to the day 1 when I had the old ERP. Or I want to see GL transactions, all GL transactions from the legacy in Acumatica, or project transactions, whatever it is. Every time that, legacy data blending is critical, we have an amazing solution, the data warehouse. There is significantly more affordable than if you try to solve it using the Acumatica approach. So when you have clients with that problem, call us. We will tell you why you should put us in your proposal. And I can guarantee you, your proposal is going to be significantly better than the competitor. And now you're going to make your offer much stronger than the competitor that doesn't have a data warehouse to solve that problem. So legacy data blending is a major reason why you should call us. Second, usually what we call sophisticated businesses. What are sophisticated businesses? Oh, it's a lot of potential. Data hungry management, complex reporting, lots of data, lots of companies. Usually, to make it simpler, is if you are budgeting your Acumatica project and you're looking at the reporting problem, customizing reports, bringing data blending, all of the things that are on reporting dashboards. If you're budgeting over $15,000, worth of effort, call us. Not only we can address the problem, but we can make your offer significantly better. If your client walks out of your presentation understanding that adding a BI solution with a data warehouse is going to be critical for their success, and many clients are already thinking about that. Do you have a real BI solution that is outside that I can use for anything? If you don't offer DataSelf for these offers, and the competitor does, guess what? Your solution will be handicapped, and the person might go to the other solution, the NetSuites and the Intex and whatnot, because you're not offering an amazing BI solution. And among the BI vendors in Acumatica, we are the strongest and with the most comprehensive and industry standard technology to make clients look at us and say, oh my God, from BI standpoint, your offer has the best, and that way we're going to make you a much stronger offer than the competitors. For these two use cases, and again, contact us, we'll talk with you, and we talk how we're going to be adding value to your proposal. And if you do, and you position this correctly, now the competitor is going to have a hard time coming up with equivalent offer, and this is going to make your offer significantly with a better competitive advantage. So these are the two values where we are an amazing asset to new Acumatica proposals. Tom, would you like to complement something?
Yes, I'd like to just touch on both points.
Speak up a little bit, a little loud, not too loud enough.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on both components, the legacy data blending and then the sophisticated business. First, from the legacy data, I truly believe it's going to be a massive differentiator in your proposal. And just to speak on a current use case that we're dealing with, and this may sound familiar to a use case that you've dealt with in the past, but we had a company that looked at Acumatica a few years ago. They evaluated Acumatica as their ERP. They ended up choosing NetSuite. And after a year of being on NetSuite, they realized that they made a big mistake, that it wasn't the solution that they were initially sold, and they wanted to move back to Acumatica. But one of the primary concerns was that their data would be potentially held hostage by NetSuite. So luckily, we had the VAR reach out to us to see if there was anything that we could do or any ideas for how to solve this problem. And because we have pre-built connections with NetSuite as well, we were able to quickly eliminate that concern through the data warehousing of their NetSuite data as well as their Acumatica data. So from that, they are now going to be able to report on that historical customer sales as well as vendor item prices that was so important to them. So that's the first legacy data blending. The second, just from a sophisticated business of just what to look out for is sometimes we see a lot of decision makers. They're coming from larger organizations that have used enterprise grade BI tools, and that's what they're expecting. So that would be an opportunity to reach out to DataSelf. As Johnny said, please call us. There's also other legacy systems with heavily customized or complex reporting. We can significantly automate that process, make it much easier for them, ultimately a better user experience, which makes you look better as the trusted advisor for the account. That's all I have there, Johnny.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on. What about existing customers getting them more satisfied? Can DataSelf help with your customer satisfaction? Typically, when you hear your existing customers complain about things like this, reports are complex, Acumatica reports are complex and time-consuming. If you hear that kind of pain point, usually, DataSelf should be part of the conversation. There are other options out there, Excel-based reporting, which is usually like a no-brainer. But many times the client needs more power, needs more ease of use. So always show options. The Excel is almost always an option to show because especially in the accounting system, people like Excel. But DataSelf is the next tier, and we also help with Excel. So don't offer only one option, offer two and see which one is going to be a better fit for them. Second, and this is a no-brainer, if people complain about the performance in Acumatica, slowing down Acumatica when they run the reports, or the reports run too slowly in Acumatica or in Excel, if you have performance issues, call us. As I told you, our reports will run in seconds. Our benchmark is 10 seconds. If a report takes longer than 10 seconds, call us, because probably we need to turn the dials to adjust, because many decision makers, if they press a refresh button and it takes longer than 10 seconds, lots of them will not wait and they will make decisions based on gut feelings. So running things fast is critical, and we absolutely address performance issues on both sides, reducing the effect in the Acumatica, so Acumatica keeps running fast, no matter your reports, and running the reports fast per se. Excel, super popular tool, and when people start getting out of control, too many Excel files, is it refreshed? Is this formula correct? Why this Excel is not matched with the other Excel? Many people call Excel hell. Excel is an amazing tool, but when people start complaining about Excel being, the Excel hell problem, call us. We have the next later. DataSelf, even Excel reporting in DataSelf, those issues are gone. The heavy lifting of the data problems or handling the data warehouse in Excel becomes only a presentation. So it runs fast. The rules are defined in the data warehouse, so you can maintain lots of Excel files, all consistent, all refreshed, using a data warehouse in between. So great way to solve Excel hell, even though if you want to keep Excel as the user interface. Finally, and I think this should be hitting home to many of you, you guys are freaking busy. All the Acumatica VARs that I know are pretty much hammered when it comes to consulting services. And many times clients are begging you, please help us with more reporting. And you guys take care of it, but not at the pace and speed that clients are demanding. So if you have limited resources to keep up with the reporting demand, or even the client, they have their own people internally and they're not keeping up, putting a data warehouse-based BI solution like DataSelf will free everyone, will free your times. Your consultants want to have more time to do Acumatica-related job. Clients will be more self-sufficient, taking care of their problems. And the people who do report design, your team or on the client's team will have significantly better, faster, more powerful tools to address, reporting needs more quickly than using the current tools. So pretty much, DataSelf addresses the issues above and more very elegantly. Tom, what do you have to complement?
Yeah, I think just on that last item there, limited resources, I think that is something that we can really help, not only on the VAR side, but also from your perspective, helping your end clients. Typically, we see that your clients, maybe they've allocated 1 or 2 resources that are in charge of building these reports for the entire organization. And although they can create these ad hoc reports and analysis, it ultimately takes them away from their more mission critical tasks. So you'll see in a moment when Johnny shows a demonstration, but DataSelf is going to allow your users or their users of varying skill levels to be able to self-service their reporting needs. Even as simple as just speaking English, similar to ChatGPT, ask a question and it's going to generate a report from scratch. But we're going to be able to train their end users to be able to create reports, build reports, edit reports. You can even have email automation that can distribute those reports to the end users. So there's a lot of flexibility in how we can either create or generate those reports, as well as present them so that the end user can ultimately consume the data and then take action on that data.
Thank you, Tom. Right, let's see some practical examples of companies that actually, those two, new Acumatica sales or existing ones, how actually we help them get to the next level. First of all, we cover all the verticals that Acumatica covers. We have done over 100 Acumatica deployments for clients. The ones listed here are the ones that allow us to talk about. I want to focus on a few of them. AES, they came from the Sage 100 business, and they could not move to Acumatica until the historical data blending could be done easily and transparently for users. So the DataSelf historical data blending was critical to get the deal done. And it was one example that without this, the deal was not be succeeding with Acumatica. Technicore, exactly the same problem. They came from Sage CRE, so construction. The president demanded that he could not live without looking at the project history across CRE and Acumatica. They have projects going across multiple years, in many clients with multiple projects. So when they are analyzing each client and each project, they have to be able to go look at the Acumatica live data and the CRE data seamlessly from a project standpoint and from a P&L standpoint. So DataSelf took care of blending the GL transaction history in the project accounting history of CRE with Acumatica, and now they can seamlessly analyze their data, always have the same report, like they never change the accounting system. Portacool manufacturing, very important, big company with a lot of manufacturing, complicated reporting needs. Was an existing client that they were trying to tackle those problems with Acumatica. They couldn't, and then DataSelf solved the inventory planning and other manufacturing reporting that they had. Jeffree Star, kind of e-commerce client. They have a huge transactions. In the busiest day, they ship like 500,000 sales order lines. And without DataSelf, that kind of reporting would be impossible out of Acumatica. So just data volume being handled by the data warehouse and the DataSelf solution. Finally, SWK, as a reseller, they also use DataSelf internally out of their own Acumatica for reporting purposes. They also have CRM and kind of project management that are other systems that they bring all the data to DataSelf for their own analysis. And this is something that Michelle is going to be talking later, where if you want to use DataSelf internally for your own reporting needs, for sales analysis, for project accounting, whatever you want, the FBA program also provides licenses, DataSelf license for you to run against your own internal system. Anyhow, so these are some of the success stories. Moving on. I want to open a quick questions. If you have any questions about what we covered so far, why DataSelf, feel free to ask now and put the question on the Zoom questionnaire question panel. I see a question here. Let me open it. Can you explain in more detail how the inventory? Can you explain in more detail how historical data blending works? Historical data blending works. Okay. Let me actually get another PowerPoint here. It's a good question. Historical data blending. I have here two diagrams that explain the most popular cases. The first one we call the option one is similar to what usually guys offer when the client asks for that functionality. You kind of use the Acumatica tools to bring the raw tables from the legacy system into the Acumatica database, and you plug a GI to. It's similar to that. However, we use the data warehouse instead. And some of the news is in the data warehouse to bring one table, 10 tables, 20 tables, 100 tables to 500 tables, and all the data is almost the same effort. It's very simple to add one table with all the history or multiple tables. So it's much easier to bring your legacy data and freeze the data in the data warehouse, and then the client can do reporting from the system using any tool, Excel, reporting services, Chris, and whatnot. This approach here is not the most popular for us, but usually when people care about having lots of data from the legacy, it's a way to go. What we sell the most is actually the option two, which is the same as option one, But now in the option 2, we actually take tables that people care out of the legacy system and actually glue them together. We call blend them together with the equivalent tables in Acumatica, like GL trend or AR trend or PM trend. You know, these tables are having the historical transactions for sales, GL, in project accounting. We take the tables that are from the original system, like, you know, CRE, like the technical that I mentioned before. We take that data, we transform the data to be matching exactly the same standards as Acumatica, the table name, the columns names, the content, we have to convert the IDs. Once all the work is done, and we already have a lot of templates to do that, and we glue at the bottom of the Acumatica same tables, when the client is going to be analyzing their sales, their GL transactions, their PM transactions, all the data is there together, like they never changed the ERP system. So this is the vision behind the historical data blending. And if you guys want to learn more how we can help, there's a lot more interesting insights and documentation behind this process, but it's a very good question. All right, other questions? I'm not seeing other questions. Let's move along. All right, so the next part here is actually do a quick demo of DataSelf. I'm going to cover 3 different topics. The ad hoc analysis, which is usually what impresses the most clients, how easy it is to do ad hoc analysis in DataSelf. I'm showing a little bit of, some of the books out of the 8,000 report library. And then ETL Plus, which is an amazing tool to solve the backend problems of getting data out of Acumatica. So let me switch gears now and show Acumatica with a built-in DataSelf. By the way, everything we're showing here today, you can do the same demo yourself, embedding DataSelf inside of your Acumatica demo boxes. So all the things I'm going to be showing here is easy for you to get and replicate these demos in your Acumatica tenant. So right here, I have a DataSelf inside of Acumatica, so people don't even need to know there's a different system doing reporting. This is what we call the slicer, in this case, a sales slicer. And primarily, it's like the Acumatica pivot table or an Excel pivot table, but on steroids. Faster, more powerful, and easier to use. Primarily as a business user, if I want to slice and dice my data, in this case, let's say I want to slice and dice my sales, I can easily pick, my periods. Right now, I have a certain year and certain periods, and just check the boxes to change them. And then here, right now, I'm looking sales by customer in that particular period. What if I want to see sales by salesperson? Well, this drop-down comes pre-configured out of the box. And someone a little bit more technical can customize the list to have all the components that your client wants to analyze. So some technical work to customize the drop-downs, but once they have been customized as a user, you just pick and choose. So as a user, I want to see salesperson. I chose salesperson. Now a salesperson report showing sales by salesperson, those 2 periods. What if I want to slice and dice? I want to break it down by item. Well, I expand to the next column. Right now, I already have items, so sales by salesperson by item. I want to break it down further. You just keep on expanding and picking something else, maybe customer. Runs instantly, is always refreshed, and is fast. And if you want to see multiple measures like sales and let's say quantity sold, again, this list is pre-configured out of the box, but a technical person can customize and make it shorter, make it longer. As a user, business user, press apply, and now you see all that information broken down by quantity sold and sales. The sales slicer is the 5th most popular feature in DataSelf because data hungry management, they need to slice and dice their data, and this framework is really helpful for them to be independent anytime and anywhere. So that's one of the ad hoc capabilities of DataSelf. You can do this with sales, with the GL transactions, with the project accounting, with the purchasing, inventory, you name it. The next feature is almost people call the magic of DataSelf. It's not magic, it's technology. Now we're talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning. natural language query, kind of, like Tom was saying, the chat GPT that allows people to ask questions in plain English, and you need to know English. But if you know English and you ask the question, properly, the tool will come up with a report built from scratch addressing the question. For instance, sales by salesperson in 2022. I just wrote like I would write in a Google search or chat GPT, press enter, and the tool will instantly, accurately answer the question. By salesperson, I see sales, in this case, we're using bars in a descending order in that particular period. It's that simple. And if you say by month, same thing, typing by month, plain English, press enter. Now the tool answers the question again instantly, in this case, showing salespeople in lines, different colors, by period in 2022. Now, many users say, hey, show me the numbers by the penny. I don't want to see charts. Well, you can easily tell the tool, give me a different representation, like a text table, like in Excel. And many accountants would prefer this approach. But anyhow, natural language query is an amazing AI technology that can answer questions to business people instantly, accurately, without knowing anything about report design. The next functionality is around dashboards and how interactive they are. So here we have one of the most popular dashboards for in our client base. It's kind of busy initially, put a little more room here. But the idea is you can select a period, and then in this case, you see sales this year, sales the same period last year, the variances, and then by period, by geography, by customer, and by item. This all is customizable. But the question is, when you look at a dashboard in DataSelf, and as a user, you want to interact and see the outliers, how easy is that? Well, let me show an example. Let's say that I look at Texas and I put the mouse over. Wow, Texas is growing 12%. It's amazing. It's awesome. Let's see what's happening in Texas. I click Texas, and now the whole dashboard changes to only show Texas totals, trend analysis, customers, and items. However, in Texas growing, but I have a customer with major decline. What the heck? Let's see what happened. I click now this customer with major decline, and again, the dashboard changes to only show now this customer, totals, trend analysis, geography, and items. And what is really driving this? Well, let me just see which items are driving the biggest decline. So right here, these are the items driving the biggest decline. I can choose them only. It may be now I want to see a GI-like view, and I click show details, and now I have a GI look at the bottom. The ability to look at reports and dashboards at the high level, see outliers, and being able to slice and dice the data, drill down, drill across at the high level before you see a GI is fully supporting DataSelf, is amazingly simple, and it helps decision makers focus on the outliers and more efficiently manage the business. So this kind of functionality is really critical. Many clients love it because of the ease of use for decision makers. All right, so this is a little bit of the ad hoc analysis. I'm just going to go through a few examples of out-of-the-box reports and dashboards that are very popular. Cash flow projection for CFO kind of role. Cash flow projection sometimes is a pain in the neck to get it done properly. This one shows today, bars going up means money coming in, bars going down, money going out. And then this is the projection of the cash flow. In all the details, all the documents, the payrolls, all transactions are listed here when you want to see in detail. And if you see something like, in this day, you have a major decline in your cash flow, why? You select that day, and quickly the tool will show on the right just the documents that are affecting the cash flow significantly in that day. Very interactive. You can do absolutely P&L, balance sheet, budgeting in DataSelf, so you can do financials in case the Acumatica is not doing well enough. People can open DataSelf inside of their Acumatica system or outside. And these are some examples of DataSelf working outside of Acumatica, providing also reports and dashboards. I'm showing right now an example of manufacturing dashboards, but there is, again, over 8,000 reports and dashboards that are available. Inventory planning, another popular one. You can see what you have on hand today, what's coming in, what's going out, and eventually forecasting and seeing when you're going to be running out of inventory and place orders. So lots of reporting covered with DataSelf. The last component that I want to show is the backend, is the data warehousing, is the ETL plus. This ETL plus is fairly straightforward. On the left side, you define the source of the data into the data warehouse. So right here, I have Acumatica. I can bring Excel sheets. I can bring CSV. I can add other data sources, SQL, MySQL, whatever it is. Very easy to add data sources. If you open your Acumatica, you can see all the DAC tables easily available to pull data from. So this is the source. Here is what we have brought to the data warehouse. And I'm going to open the Acumatica grouping because this is the out-of-the-box pre-configured tables that we bring from Acumatica, lots of tables. And if you pick a table, then you can see the select statement that pulls all the fields into Acumatica. It's easy to customize, it's easy to change, to add, remove, very straightforward. You can leverage the power of SQL if you want to do extensive transformation. And refreshing is very fast. I'm going to show how fast the refresh is. So this is the process that we can schedule refreshes. You can tell how often you want to refresh the data, let's say every hour. And when you run the refresh process behind the scenes, the tool go to Acumatica just pulls the deltas. After the first load, which can take a while if you have lots of data. After the first load, when DataSelf is loading the ongoing process, the refresh usually runs in seconds or minutes because we're only pulling what has changed since the last refresh. So delta refresh in DataSelf is very powerful. The data eventually comes to SQL. So if you're familiar with SQL, this is plain SQL. You can see all the DAC tables that are in the Acumatica database become automatically replicated in SQL. And then you can use reports like Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and make the solution significantly faster. So this is just showing that now is loading all the tables. Some are loaded completely, some are upserted, meaning only bring the new and modified. All right, we're running a little bit out of time, so let me go back to the PowerPoint and move on. I'm going to skip the question for this time because we're running a little bit behind schedule. Pricing of DataSelf. DataSelf is now listed on the FBA pricing list. Everything that I showed you today is pretty much can be available with the Essentials version. Most of the times we sell the Pro edition, which is the most popular. In some clients, they also buy Enterprise. So pricing of DataSelf can be from $4,000 or $5,000 per year up to six figures if you go to really big businesses that have lots of data. Most clients will fall into this category of being $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per year investment. That's the full-blown DataSelf solution. We also have the tools, as we call, if you only need ETL Plus to populate your own data warehouse, or if you want to use the SQL mirroring, very affordable tools to take care of those problems. And I'm going to now let Darcy and Michelle cover this slide.
Great. Hi. Yes, Darcy again. Just briefly, we, as Johnny has mentioned, we're a part of Fulfilled by Acumatica. There are a lot of resources out in the partner portal about DataSelf, such as enablement documents, FAQs, battle card, etc. As Johnny also mentioned, we have an embeddable demo environment, which Michelle is going to, in a moment, towards the end here, share the link in the chat, but we'll also send out this deck with the link to that as well. It's got a great, quick little demo script, 5-minute demo script that you can follow along. So if you're like me and you like to just get in there and try it for yourself, you can do that as well. We have a reseller toolkit. So we've got all kinds of different marketing resources, sales resources, etc. in there. We'll send that to you as well. And we also offer marketing support. So if you want to host a webinar or you want newsletter content or email content or things like that, I'm happy to assist you with that. Sales and implementation support. I mean, Tom really touched on this, but I know this is crucial for some of you guys, at least as you're getting started with DataSelf. Tom will help you through the process, and we'll help with the implementation. You really don't need to be any kind of expert to be able to sell DataSelf. We hope that you'll eventually want to, though. And so we do offer a lot of courses optionally for free certification courses, anywhere from just entry-level user training all the way up to being able to deploy DataSelf on your own. So when you get to that point, we have help for all different kinds of systems as far as what you want to do on your end and what you want us to do. But the bottom line is we just want to do whatever we can to make it easy for you guys to recommend DataSelf to your customers. And so, Michelle, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm just a quick bit. As mentioned earlier, I help our VAR clients get acquainted with our system. And we know that your work with Acumatica fills your time and sometimes can be daunting. So we offer programs that allow you to be involved, as involved as you want to be, as Darcy just mentioned, getting you up to brought up on the learning of our product. If you want to take that route, you can allow us to do all the heavy lifting for you. So from the pre and post sales process, all the way through the implementation and adoption of your customers' teams. That includes our NFR program. So the FBA program here through Acumatica for your internal use. If I want to go that route, just simply shoot us an email. We'll get you started. And like SWK and Net at Work, they rely on our product daily. We recommend that you'll focus presenting or referring the top 20% of your customers for using the product. And while working with us, if you choose to get your clients going on the DataSelf site, you too can learn how easy it is to get rolling. Back to you, John.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. And Michelle brought up a pretty good point. She mentioned the top 20% of your client base. Usually, the top 20% of your client base, they are hot prospects for DataSelf. Many of these companies, they have many reporting challenges and lots of reporting work and whatnot. And if they learn what DataSelf can add to them, quite often there's some major benefits. First of all is you give them a much better tool for them, much better platform for them to do better with reporting, to be more independent. They're going to be more self-sufficient. They're going to make more informed decisions in a timely fashion. So they'll be giving a pat on your back because of that. But because they're bigger, usually the DataSelf projects are big, and you'll make some good commission out of it. And we're going to make also some good money out of it. Everyone will be win, right? So to me, I always tell people, large clients, large organizations, sophisticated, they need BI. Sometimes they don't even know that they need BI. But once they learn what we bring to the table, they're going to say, oh my God, why you didn't do this before? They'll thank you. They'll give you and us a lot of money to solve their problems, and going to say, pat on the back, thank you for bringing DataSelf to the plate. So thanks, Michelle, for bringing that up. All right. I was hoping we'd have more time to give more for Q&A, but at least we have 5 minutes to go. Questions, please use the Zoom panel.
Johnny, I'm going to post the scripts that we have in the chat. That's the demo script and the embedding the reports in Acumatica. Anybody would like to have that?
Good point. What Michelle was talking about is everything that I showed you today in the demo, at least on the web, inside of Acumatica and outside on the web browser, all of those dashboards, they are available for you to embed in your own Acumatica for free as part of the FBA. It usually takes 5 to 10 minutes to take a DataSelf whole set of dashboards and embed in your Acumatica. And that's what Michelle is doing. She's going to be posting the links to our knowledge base so you can do that. Question from Danielle. I'm trying to get certified. I can't find any tests on the self-certification. Do you need to do the webinars? Danielle, I actually don't know the answer to this question specifically, but Darcy or Michelle will look at your question and will get back to you to be sure that you can find the resources that you need to get certified in DataSelf.
Yes.
Thanks for the question. What else? From Peter, how long does it get to get trained in DataSelf? Peter, that's a good question. It depends your role. We have many decision makers that they see a demo like we saw today, and they become self-sufficient in the things that they need to do in DataSelf. There's a lot of reports ready to go. They just need to search and find. They can use the natural language query AI to answer the questions or the slicer. So there's a lot of decision makers that they need zero training besides a quick tour in the DataSelf user interface. On average, we have a 2-hour class online, instructor-led, to show decision makers how to navigate and how to filter things. So on average, we recommend a 2-hour training for them. Report design, which probably is your question of how easy it is to do report design in DataSelf. We have a 12-hour course that we do every month in report design, which is using the web designer to completely change and modify reports and dashboards. And then there's the server-side customizations. And that includes ETL+, SQL Server, Tableau Security, Power BI Security, whatnot. On the back end, the training depends on how much you know today, your team knows today about BI components like DataSelf. We have some companies that have little resource. Sometimes we do nothing, they just run with it. We have some others that take lots of hours of training. So usually server-side training is a one-on-one discussion to see where you are with your expertise in BI components, and then we tailor the training based on those requirements. Alrighty. Looks like we run out of questions, but at the end of the day, very important, we are excited with the FBA program. We are thankful that Luisa, Christian, and Sergey, they help us get to where we are. We are even more excited to be working with you guys. We have put together an amazing program to help you be more effective as a VAR. And we are hearing, if you need something specific for the way that you do your own business, tell us. At the end of the day, we are people here working hard to make you and your customers successful. So feel free to reach out to people listed here. We should be the main ones when it comes to business in the short term, new sales, vision, technical things. And as you get more closely involved with our team, as I mentioned, we have 30+ data geeks ready here to get you to the next level. I really appreciate that you joining us today, and have a great day. Thanks for watching us.